Good morning and welcome to Movements of Magic. We will begin by standing with the feet about hip distance apart. I'll just remind you here that you don't really need a yoga mat. Much of these movements are standing. And this style of movement is different than perhaps a regular yoga practice in that we focus more on sensations and movements of whether it's figure eights or circles. So everything is a little bit more fluid. As always, don't worry if you feel like you can't get the movements the first time. That's perfectly fine. But as we move through each of the examples, just do the best that you can. Okay? So wherever you are, starting to sink deeply into the knees, deeply into the feet, and have a nice straight spine here. In Tai Chi and Qigong style movements, we always have the weight grounded into the feet, and you feel that all the strength comes from the pelvic region, helping to keep the spine aligned and lifted. So just take any movements here, just notice that when you're super grounded into the earth, into the feet, if you were to move, it doesn't come from the arms, it doesn't come from the upper half, okay? All right, I know, so a few of you just joined, so we're getting started straight away. We don't need a mat, let's just stand up and begin. First is the opening salute. With the feet hip distance apart, always a slight bend in the knee. Sweep the arms out and up. Breathing naturally, let the palms come together. On the exhalation, you take a little bend in the knee and exhale, reaching over to the left. Back and through center. Exhale up and over to the right. So feel that you're grounding even as you breathe up through center, even as you reach over to the left, you're still grounding into both feet with a slight bend in the knee. Breathe naturally through the center and bend the knees over to the right. Take one more here. Back through center. Exhale up and over. And through center. Up and over. Really warming up the side body. Come back through center. Stretching the arms up. And as the arms come down, pause at the halfway point. Press the heels of the hands out to the sides like a stretch. And the exhalation brings the arms all the way down. So again, just allow everything to float and move very smoothly. So next is called snake crawling. I'll turn to the side so that you can see. Remember, the hips move forward and backwards. You can rock onto the soles of the feet and the heels of the feet. And this is your base. This is your support. So you might be familiar with a body roll. That's what comes next. So on the inhalation, the hips come forward. The breath energy comes up through the body, through the heart. And as you exhale, you sit back to repeat. Just let the hands follow along. Inhale, rolling from the bottom to the top. Exhale, sitting to repeat. Go ahead. So we're doing each movement approximately 6 times, sometimes more. And again, as you get used to this sensation, you feel your own muscles in the legs charging up, squeezing the back body, opening through the chest and sinking. You find that smooth rhythm so that maybe you want to go faster or slower. But wherever you are, let's continue now. The next movement always follows through from the last. So from here, you start to breathe, lifting through the chest, letting the arms extend out in front of you. The fingers extend last. And then as you exhale, bending through the elbows and the knees, start to pull the hands towards you as if they're floating on a surface. The next inhalation, the hands come up. And then the hands come down. Good. Again, sweeping the arms forward. Letting the hands come up in line with the arms. Bend the elbows and knees and pull the hands towards you. Then the hands come up. Exhale, the hands come down. So you notice this movement, everything nice and steady. So find that the body roll, all the energy comes from the bottom to the top. So breathing in, let the breath expand into the lungs, which makes the arms come forward like a zombie. Then the hands come up. And then as you exhale, then you pull the hands towards you, the elbows come down. You sink through the knees, and then the palms face forward. Just take another breath with the palms facing forward and the hands come down. Good, just try this 2 more times. It gets nice and steady, nice and smooth. Breathing from the bottom up. Extending through the fingertips. Pull the hands towards you. It's like you drop the hands down, the heels of the hands down. And then all the way down. Good, last time here. Start to fill the lungs with breath, expanding through the arms, lengthen through the crown of the head. And then as you exhale, pull the elbows down, pull the hands towards you. Feel that breath opens the palms, and the exhalation, the palms come down. Good. All right, from here. Very similar to what we just did. This time we create claws, fists, and then release. Okay, so very similar. When you're ready, again, you ground into the feet, settle in through the hips, just let the breath open through the chest, let the arms come forward. This time make some claws. I'm trying to make myself even in the image. Claws with the hands. Good. Exhale as you just sink into the body, sink into the seat. Turn the hands towards you. Make 2 fists. And feel the strength in the hands. And then as you release, the palms face forward and exhale down. Good. The same again. Find that breath. Claws. Turn the hands towards you. Inhale, fists. Exhale, palms forward and down. Remember, we're mimicking the movements of animals. Reaching forward. Comes from the bottom to the top. Claws with strength. Exhale, sink through the knees. Bring the palms towards you. Make fists. And exhale, the palms forward and down. Now see if you can just get into it 3 more times. Feel the rise of energy from the bottom to the top. So just like that snake crawling, making the claws. Exhale, settle, making the fists. Exhale, settle. Once you get used to the movements, you can do it a little faster. Don't get too attached at any one point. One more time. Claws. fists. And release. Beautiful. Now as the hands come down, we move into our next variation. This is called rolling tiger cubs. Now imagine that the palms face up at the side of the body, so you're leading with the back edge of the hand. Okay, so imagine that you're drawing images with the back edge of the hand, so you can make some figure eight images. And remember also that all of the energy, all of the shape comes from the movement of the hips. So we're not just flailing the arms around without direction. So remember, get the hips coming forward and backwards. Find that balance here first. Take the hands, palms face up at your sides. Okay, so this movement now, we're drawing a figure eight on both sides at the same time. So the hands come towards you along the sides, and then they have to turn back. So it's almost like you create like some bird wings. They have to come around as the hips come forward. They come towards the face of the chest. The palms are open now. Now take that breath in and start to open the hands out to the sides to create a circle, which comes back towards the hips. Okay, so it might feel a bit odd, but don't worry. Just kind of move the hips forward and backwards and let the arms follow the movement. Really, the way that the arms move, they can only really move in this type of direction, the shape of the joints. So the hips sink back, the hands come in, let them go back around. Then they come through the chest and open. And exhale back. And again, remember, don't worry. Sometimes it takes a few repetitions to get comfortable with finding the rhythm. That's really what it's about in these types of movements, finding that beautiful infinite rhythm, so that once you get it, then you feel how the energy moves continuously. So remember, hands towards the hips. Let the hips come forward. Don't worry too much about the arms. All of a sudden, the hands come towards the face and open and come out and around. Good. So don't worry about flipping the palms in any direction. They always face the way they need to. Good. So just try a few more times. Again, don't worry too much. Have fun with it. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in and out. Not worrying too much about how the shape of the figure eight works. It's all a figure eight because it's continuous. Good. All right, when you're ready, coming back to the start, the hands come towards the hips. So again, all of these movements in this sequence flow one to the next once you get really comfortable with it. So this next is called the snake exercise. This is where it gets nice, fun. Do a lot of wiggling. So here, again, the palms are facing each other. So we start at the top, and imagine you're tracing the shape of a river or a snake. And just notice how this is really nice for the body too. You have to keep the hips stable. We're not swaying too much unless you feel very grounded in the feet. So it's drawing the snake shape, and it gets smaller towards the bottom. The snake tail is right about here. Now when you feel that you're at the bottom, make sure you have the tailbone tucked. You have the abdomen a little bit strong and the legs strong here. We do a wiggle. Okay, so imagine all the energy of the earth goes through you and all the way up, and we repeat. So feel that you're grounding. Those knees are bending, especially if we do a lot of yoga. This type of stance is not normally very new or not very comfortable. So go ahead, wiggle up. Make sure you squeeze the legs, squeeze the glutes. They really solidify your groundedness. And again, you just trace that river or snake shape, get all the way to the bottom, and then wiggle up the center. Following the breath, exhaling as you draw down, inhaling as you come up. Try it 2 more times. Remember, you can go slower, you can go faster. Nice. So when you're ready, just coming back down to neutral. So feel the hands come down. So same again, if you feel a lot of the movement is coming from the waist upwards, and you're trying to draw a lot of the imagery, just sink into the hips, sink into the knees, and just you feel side to side movements. You feel strength in the legs with a lot of these. Just feel like your feet are gripping the ground. So you could be blowing away in a hurricane, but you're so grounded that a lot of these movements can move through you. Good. All right, this next variation, you can take your pointer fingers just to help visualize. Now don't worry again about perfection. Here we want to imagine that we're drawing 3 circles on the side of the body, small, medium, and large. So use your dominant hand. Here's my right hand. I start with 1. And you see the other hand follows. 2 and 3. And then I go down. 3, 2, 1. Now again, this is like some funky dance move where you're like waving the arms. It's exactly like that. So lead with your dominant hand, whichever one that is. Start low, and you go up high, and you do 3 circles up and 3 circles down. So you're using the breath here. So 1. The other hand just follows along. 2. Good. 3. 3, 2, 1. And now I encourage you again, if you're very used to the yoga situation, so instead of trying to draw the circles just with the arms and having the hips kind of follow, see if you could almost lead with the shoulder, right? And just let the hand be a little trail of energy. Imagine you have like fire poi. So inhaling, 1, 2. Remember the hips are leading. 3, and 3, 2, 1. Try 2 or 3 more times, just not worrying too much, but find now the breath. Inhaling. After a while, you don't have to use the pointer fingers, you can just have the hand. And what's really amazing about all of these movements, whether you get them perfect or not, is that once you feel that you have a rhythm with it and your body starts to understand the movement, you really get a delicious massage for the hips, for the shoulders. So again, don't worry about the arms so much. See if you can feel this movement happening from the hips, maybe the shoulders. It's as if all the energy comes from inside the body. The arms are just decoration. They just flow anyway. So go ahead, last 2 times. You just imagine that you're following this circle, this stack of circles on the side body. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be exactly small, medium, large. Sometimes you just get that rhythm and you feel that the body can just move in this very fluid way. All right, good. So when you're ready, let's return back through center. Next comes breathing up through the back. So as you exhale, sink through the feet, and just allow yourself to fold forward, not fold forward, just relax the upper half. Again, the tailbone is tucked under, so breathing in from the base of the spine, up the back body. You start to stand up, the chest looks forward, just like we did in the beginning, letting the hands extend forward, the arms extend forward. Let the fingertips extend, and then slowly pull the hands towards you. You can let the palms face forward and down. To repeat, again, just allow the head, neck, and shoulders to relax. See if you can help the body stretch here. Pull in the belly in. Go ahead, breathing in. Extending the arms, extending the fingertips. And breathing out, just like we did before. I've added another one. Fingertips face up. And the hands come down. And continue, you bow a little forward. Feel a nice stretch for the back, supporting with the belly. Feel how the breath moves the body. Good. All right, let's move into the next variation. So that was breathing up the back. Next is the tortoise pose. Again, we move to more of these wiggling movements. Wonderful. So here, you're welcome to put the hands on the hips, but just visualize now, we're making 3 circles, not 3 circles, maybe 1 or 2.5. You're making circles to one side, but we're creating a coiled spring, so we're moving downwards. So choose right or left side, make 1 circle, maybe 2, maybe 2.5 or 3. And you feel that you're really tucked under, the tailbone is really tucked under, and you're a coiled spring, you're ready to release. Same again, we'll wiggle up, just let those hands flail. Remember, feel the strength in the legs to help support your back here. Then again, the hands just float down and do the same side. 3, 2, maybe 1, and then flail up. This is really nice for the lower back. And remember, strengthen, squeeze the glutes and the legs to help give you that energy, charging up through the body. Wonderful. Now the other side. Make the circles. Just imagine you're coiling a spring of energy. And then shooting up. You really get to feel around in your hips, in your body, for what really wants to be dug open. Again, these circular type of movements we very often miss out in yoga. Good. So you've done 3 circles to each side. Now come back through center. And now this time, it's a little bit weirder, but imagine you're drawing circles with the hips, but you're facing them forward. So instead of drawing them down towards the earth, you're just facing them forward. So again, choose right or left, but you imagine even if I'm drawing with my fingertips facing forward, I'm going 1, 2 a little lower, 3 as low as I can go. I've gathered all my potential energy, and then we wiggle up. Remember, I really like to just squeeze the glutes, let it just help you charge up. You get really grounded in the legs. So same again, draw that circle. The hips are facing forward, and you're making these types of circles. And then when you're ready, center, wiggle up. Once you've done 3 on one side, do the other side. So again, now I'm drawing circles the other way. And you might feel that you kind of thrust the hips a little bit forward in order to make this circular shape. So it might feel different from one side to the next. So just notice what type of movement, what type of adjustments happen in the hips to make that circular motion. So go ahead, try one more time. Circle through the hips as if you're drawing circles facing forward with your navel or your hips. And then when you're at the center, wiggle up. Remember, you really gotta squeeze the glutes because all the energy goes right through the body. Excellent, welcome. Wonderful. Release the hands. This next one is a little easier. At first we did that tiger cub, rolling tiger cub variation where we're doing figure eights on the side. This one's a little bit more open, very nice. So palms face open, face up, and very simply start to feel the hips lean forward and open the chest, breathe. Letting the arms open up like you're looking at the sky, waiting for rain. And on the exhalation, turn the palms forward. They come next to the face and you push the hands. Very simple. Make a circle, turn the palms up. Exhale, push them forward. And it's all based around the upper half. Continue. Now you can really tell that the movement just comes from the hips. The hips go forward, the arms come back. The arms come forward, the hips go back. Open the palms and press them forward. Now really find your rhythm and your breath here. Sometimes it's so beautiful just to experience this nice movement. It doesn't have to be complicated. Feel a lot of rotation in the joints. We often remove a lot of stagnation through the joints. That's where energy gets stuck in the joints. So just take the last ones here. Now, when you're ready, the next movement comes right from here. So you've pushed the hands forward and just pause there. Okay? So remember, stay grounded in the knees, no worries. Now turn your left palm just to face forward so it's not out to the side. The right hand drops down along the side. It comes out behind you, and then you're going to bring it over towards the left shoulder, palms facing out, and then you sweep it along the side. As it completes that sweeping motion, you're gazing there, let the right hand come towards the side, and the right hand comes to center. So we have to do the same on the other side. It's kind of like a relay. We tag. So now the left hand comes down along the side, over towards the right shoulder, and then palm faces out and just sweep it along the horizon as you gaze with it. It can only go so far, and then it comes down back to heart center, where the other hand does the same. Drop down and sweep it over from the left to the right, and then back through heart center. So again, try not to think too much about it, but just feel how you can move one hand along the horizon until it comes to its natural conclusion, back to heart center. And the other hand back and around along the horizon. And then back through center. Right? So the arm has to come back, over to one shoulder, then around, and we also turn with it, Feet stay the same. And then the hand back to center. Then the other one comes back and around. And then we sweep it along. So it comes back to center. I hope that makes sense. So don't worry about it too much. Just 2 more times. Right hand back, over towards the left shoulder, sweep around. That's it. Yeah, beautiful. And then the right hand come down towards the hip and then back to heart center because that's its movement. Beautiful. Left hand back and around to the right shoulder and then sweep across. Follow the complete movement until it comes back through center because that's its movement. That's beautiful. Great job, guys. It's nice that I can see you. All right. So next is called monkey walking. All right, it gets fun. Again, don't worry too much about it. So again, we can always keep a nice sink in the knees, a nice tuck in the tailbone. And here, we want to imagine that we're making circles with the hand. So classic wax on, wax off movement. This is really just a rotation of the wrist. So don't worry about turning them inwards, everything goes outwards, right? Now, when we make these types of circular movements in the wrists, in this variation called monkey walking, we imagine that we look in the direction that the hand is going. So just try this. Look right, left, right, left. The palm is facing out, out, out. And of course, when you're switching sides, just let the hand do what it does. It comes in naturally in some curling movement. So then as we continue to do this, when we're looking to the sides, you can start like this. Remember, the weight is in the feet, in the lower half. You start to lift the right, then the left, right, left foot. So you lift the foot of the same hand and the same gaze. And this becomes monkey walking. And this is a beautiful practice where right now we start very delicately. We just feel that we're leaning to one side, which helps us gaze to where the hand is facing. But you're also making this beautiful circular movement. So again, notice if there's a lot of upper half movement. Again, sink low and sometimes practice with the feet. Don't worry too much about the hand. And imagine you could just tilt from one side to the next. And then you can pop the hand, right? But of course you can make that circular movement easily. So remember, keep the lower half, all that lower half groundedness. So remember, the hips aren't moving, just kind of like a tilt. Yeah. So when you get comfortable with this, you realize that actually you're making quite large, you can make quite large circles with the hands. And this becomes an energetic continuum, just like all of these movements. Everything is linked together. So you can even exaggerate this by taking bigger circles. You can go faster too. You can go slow, you can go fast. But wherever you are today, just notice how you feel. Let's come back through center. Good. Next is Pouncing Tiger. So here, stepping that, I'll do the right foot for you. So step your right foot at a slight angle. You can turn your back foot slightly inward. So it's almost like we're doing a warrior one type of lunge stance here, but this is a moving type of thing. And you might find that the back heel and the front toes, they might rock a little bit as we do this movement. So don't worry too much about being perfect. You can adjust the stance. Now from here, reach the arms up. Imagine we're going to turn a big watermill. So you bend that front knee, And you press the hands forward. Now on the inhalation, it's like you're pulling the handle, straighten that front leg, pull all the energy up the body. It's a really big wheel. And you come all the way back up. And again, exhale, bend the knee and push the hands, push that middle. And again, there's kind of a loose idea about the movement, the energy. So then if you find that you're getting into it, of course, maybe the front toes come up, maybe the back heel comes up. But start to move the energy into your body. And you can make adjustments if you find that the stance is too wide. You just take a shorter step in, but just get that beautiful movement where you can feel it rising up through the leg and pushing from the body. Good. Now when you're ready to change sides, you come up through center, pivot the right toes in, pivot the left toes out. The same again, and just try and continue. Come up, pressing forward. And you feel that back knee bend slightly. You gotta have a lot of strength in that back leg. So straighten the front leg. And same again. So to regulate the breath, visualize yourself moving all this energy through the body. Just the last few times here. And you can imagine this is a pouncing tiger. Gather the energy and it goes, pounce. All right, come back through center. I'm very aware that these types of movements are sometimes challenging to follow along, whether it's on a recording like this, but even in person. So again, don't worry too much. It's good just to get the body used to this type of rolling sensation, these rhythmic movements. So when you're ready, reach the arms out to the sides. Bend through both knees slightly. Remember, the tailbone is tucking under. You got a lot of balance, a lot of strength here. Now weight into the right leg. Lift the left knee up, point the toes down. Draw the knee over to the right. Tap the toes on the ground. Come up and back. Tap the toes on the ground. Good, let's continue that. Beautiful. Trying 3 more times. Feel the poise that you need. Strengthen the hips. Wonderful. When you've done about 6 times, of course you can relax the arms. We'll do the same on the other side. Arms out. And we really find the balance here. Remember, gotta tuck the tailbone down. The knees are bent. Our center of gravity then comes onto the left leg. The right knee bends. Point the toes. Over to the left. Good, about 6 times. Nice, and when you've completed, go ahead. You can release. Good, now just a nice release from this variation. Separate the feet nice and wide. And super steady. You can just bring the hands inside the thighs, onto the thighs. We're just going to create a nice release for the shoulders. So you lean over to your right side, right hand leans on the leg, and imagine you could just swing that left arm, right? So the full movement here, you just do one swing usually, but feel that the left arm comes up and over, but it carries the other one with it. So now the left hand is on the thigh and the right hand is swinging, right? So let's create a nice movement with this. So just one swing, up and over, up and over. Good, up and over, up and over. Now keep this movement going and just notice how you can really release through the shoulders. You can really support yourself with the hand on the leg. This could also be really nice for your back. And you just feel that you're just tossing from one side to the next. Good. All right, now back through center. Both hands come onto the thighs. Take a nice breath here. And always with the tailbone tucked gently under, you can start to roll yourself up, letting the head come back through center. Of course, the legs can be a little bit more straight here. Now bring the feet hip distance apart. Next is a very beautiful movement called Align Heaven and Earth. Again, always grounding yourself here. Feel the tailbone supporting the length of the spine. And when you're ready, inhale, reaching the left arm straight up as the right hand reaches straight down. Just a gentle stretch with the breath. And then exhale, bring the hands back and switching sides. Left hand down, right hand up. And feel a nice breath in there as you stretch in opposite directions. Of course, you're pulling these now back through center. Bring the fingertips together at the heart center. And just take one nice breath here, slight arch back. Just lifting through the heart with the breath. And the same again, as you exhale, go ahead. Left up, right down. And switching sides. Left down, right up. Feel that breath in. Hands to center. Breathing in, expand the lungs. And continue. Go ahead. Left up, right down. Breathing. You're reaching for heaven and earth at the same time. And then the other side, you can really feel that. And then you meet them together at the center of the chest, the heart center. Good. Now just take a couple more times on your own, and do feel free if you want to close the eyes as you reach up, reach down. As you switch sides, you're really starting to take what you need from heaven and earth and align them into the body. Heart center, nice full breath. Last two. And the last one here, really start to tune in energetically that you're reaching high and low, integrating, even out both sides. And then bring this unified energy into your body at the heart region. Take that full breath. Good. All right. So even that one's such a nice calming movement. We have another active movement coming up next. So let's shake out any stagnation. This is called Dragon Looks Both Ways. Feet are a little wider than hip distance apart. It's another wiggle one. So just sink a little bit. And it's just fun to practice these. Like I said, I think a lot of this wiggle movement comes from just squeezing the glutes, letting the legs be strong. And you imagine that this current of energy just really goes up through the center of the body and the hands naturally wiggle. So don't worry too much if it's not exaggerated with the hands. Allow yourself to feel it from the inside. So this is Dragon Looks Both Ways. So you imagine that you can see both hands nice and low, and you tuck the tailbone under. So when you wiggle up, the hands expand outwards, but you still try to look at both hands, right? Looks like this. Right? And then the same again, just let the hands fall down, prepare your lower body, and continue. Go ahead. Nice, about 3 more. And sometimes I do a little bit of a toss, as if you're gathering the energy. And then when you're ready to burst up, then you burst up. Remember, you inhale as you burst up. Exhale as you settle down. A couple more times. Nice. Beautiful. All right. Now these are such energizing movements. Next is dragon walking. So just like we did the monkey walking was more to the side, this one is more forward. So imagine you have a bit of like the wrists stay relatively close and you're just tossing one hand, then the other hand forward. So really nice for the wrists. Again, don't worry too much. Sometimes we don't have a smooth rhythm all the time, but it's okay. Now the same idea, this time we stay looking forward. When the right hand looks forward, the right foot comes up because we're walking. And it might just be up a little bit, don't worry too much. When the left hand comes forward, the left foot comes up. So just imagine you get a little bit of you gotta visualize like you're a lizard or a dragon. So just keep that rotation of the wrists, keep looking forward. You get that little tilt of a walk. I find that sometimes you get a bit of a hip movement here. You get a little bit of a movement through the rib cage as well. So I really like to encourage you to allow what type of movement needs to happen for your body in order to do this pose or this movement. That's it, nice. Just one hand forward at a time. Imagine you're just roaming around the countryside like a dragon. Big lizard. Good. Now from here, especially on a screen, this is the last one that might be a bit interesting. So here, pivot the right toes to the right, and you want to imagine that you're taking that left hand, the palm facing away from you. It's almost like you're going to scoop the air. Right? So create a scooping sensation. And then as you come back with that hand, you pivot on the other heel and let the other hand scoop the air behind you. And you just keep this movement. So keep pivoting on one heel and the next, but the arms do a bit of a scooping sensation. Good. So just remember, you can make it a complete movement. So the hand scoops in the front, and in the back, it has to scoop the other way. So the back of the hand scoops it the other way. And this creates a bit of a momentum. Remember, keep that sinking in the hips, that sinking in the knees, so that you don't really throw your back out. But this actually can be very nice to release any sort of stagnation, any tension or misalignment as well in the back. I like to feel the strength I need in my hips, because that standing hip really has to be grounded. That knee has to be bent when you pivot, and it really forces you to squeeze through the hips. So you practice just pivoting on one foot, one heel, and then the other. And then naturally just kind of swim through the air. Good. And again, like I said, I'm very aware that sometimes looking, it's kind of hard to grasp, but it's scooping. And that backhand starts to unscoop to come back. And then you have to do them at the same time. So it creates this beautiful vortex, this figure eight around you. Good. All right. Coming back through center. And here's the last movement that we've got in this series. So I really like this one. Again, a lot of these movements are really nice for your lower back, for your energy. So here, again, the palms are facing forward. The fingers are together. When you're ready, you imagine you have 4 circles. 1, 2, 3, 4. You imagine like a 4-leaf clover, like a shamrock. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the movement with the hand is curling in. Start with your right hand. I know it looks the opposite here. I'll try to do that as well. So 1, 2, like a monkey. And then you have the right hand turn out. 3, 4. And so it looks like this. Exhale, curl in, 1, 2. And inhale, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. So I'm going to do it with the right hand now. So look opposite, but you start with the right. Exhale. 1, 2. Inhale, 3, 4. And you can get a bit of a wiggle at the top. Good. So curling in, palms are facing up, inwards. And then the palms turn out. 3, 4. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Try 2 more. This is a really good energizing sensation. 1, 2, 3, 4. Excellent. All right, let the hands come down. Let's start to cool down. These are very interesting movements, but I can tell you that they very much energize the body and really get the joints lubricated. So hands to the hips, circle the hips one direction 6 times. Inhales, you go back. Exhales, you go forward. And then the other way, same breathing. Good. Now neutralize the hips. Bring them back through center, little bend in the knee. And I really encourage you, try your best to imagine that the hips and everything downwards don't move. So next, rotate the torso. Draw a line with the top of the head. Exhale as you lean forward. Make a circle to one direction. Inhale as you lean back. Good. And then the same the other way. Be sure to use the breath with this movement so you don't hurt your back. Remember, the tailbone stays tucked under. Good, beautiful. Come back through center now. Relax the arms, the hands. And here, drop the chin towards the chest, releasing through the neck and shoulders. Inhale, bring the right ear to right shoulder. And the chin back to the chest. Left ear, left shoulder. And back to the chest. Again, right side. And center. Left side. And center. Back to the right. This time, lift the head up and over to the other shoulder. We don't go back in this variation. Good, and then chin back to center. And left ear to left shoulder. Inhale the head up and over. And again, back through center. Good. Feel free to rock a little bit the head, a little bit from side to side, rolling the chin along the chest. And when you're ready, go ahead, bringing the head back up through center. All right, let's take our last few cool downs. Reach the arms forward, up and back. 6 times. Good. And then from back to front. Nice. And backstroke, one at a time. And then front stroke, one at a time. All right, now interlace the fingers, stretching up, just one press here. Bend through the knees. Reach over to your left, stretch and press. Back through center, stretching all the way up. Exhale, bend through the knees. Press and stretch to the right. And back through center, pressing up. And let the arms come out and down. Now the spinal movement is my absolute favorite. Sweep the arms out and up. Letting the palms with the fingers together face down and inwards, creating like a squeegee. And as you exhale, squeegee the energy down. You really start to ground all the energy we've awakened. And again, sweep the arms out and up. Fingertips towards each other, squeegee down. And here you can close the eyes, visualize, out and up. Down through center. Grounding all this energy. Whoa, take one more time. Remember, this is at your own pace. And when you've completed that last round, keep the eyes closed. Just let the arms, the hands float down as if there's a surface of water just below the hips. Then relaxing the hands. With the eyes closed and the body very still but standing. Just take this moment to feel. This is the time in the practice here where you get to notice how you feel now compared to when you first started the practice today. And thank you so much for sharing in this movement of magic practice. I know it can be very, very new and interesting. But as this is a very energizing practice ahead, of course, if you're ready to get on with the activity of your day, you're all set. As long as you can keep the mind relaxed and positive. Of course, if you do need to take a rest, feel free to take a rest in Shavasana as you might normally do.